And before we get into that, Sterling, I understand that this Supremacy League is kind of it's in its third season, I guess, at this point.
Yep.
Or
So this is our third full season, and we've run, I think, one mini tourney. So I kind of call it like season 3.5 almost. But yeah, this is the third full season for us.
right,
And this is actually one of the last matches of the regular season. Week 9, if
uh,
memory serves.
this is week 9, huh? Well, how many total weeks are in the league? Well,
So
basically,
the
just how about this? How about this? Instead of me just posing you a question, why don't you just give us a breakdown on the leagues itself? What I understand, there's two different sets of leagues. One of them is a gold league, and one of them is a silver league. And give us a breakdown on what the silver league teams are going to try to accomplish, and where they go, and then to the gold league, what they try to accomplish, and what happens to them if they
All right.
win, or if they're in the top or bottom or whatever. I don't know how you guys have it worked out, so maybe we can give these guys an
So
explanation
basically,
here.
if you've ever seen the World of Tanks leagues, it's somewhat similar to that, as well as some of the CS majors, and basically it's inspired from other leagues. As far as this system goes right now, there's a gold and a silver league at the moment. The gold league basically being the top set of teams, basically the highest tier of competitive play, and then silver league is basically a tier under that. Um, so the teams playing tonight are, playing for a better seed in the playoffs. The top two teams that play in the Silver League this season are gonna be eligible to move up to the Gold League of Play. Whereas in the Gold League of Play, the bottom two teams will move down. So basically, we've started this sort of two division play right now. We're hoping to put on a third bronze division next season.
Right.
But the idea being, that there's um excuse me, I had to sneeze for a second there.
Oh, you're good.
The idea basically being, that it's different divisions of play based on, the competitiveness of a team. So teams will always get very, tight matches for the most part. Try and keep sort of same level of skill together, and get some good matches going.
Right. I get it. I understand. Um, I had a couple of questions here from nobody in particular, just myself. You say the top two teams of the Silver League are eligible to move up into the Gold League, correct?
Yes.
All right, that's at the end of the season. How long? How long is the season, and I guess how many weeks? How many games do they need to play against each other before we get into the playoffs?
So every team plays each other twice. Since we ended up with, I think, like 9 or 10 teams in both leagues. Both the Gold and the Silver League had, I think, 10 teams to start with, and ended up being, in order to play everyone twice, it ended up being 9 weeks of like I 18 matches, I guess, every team plays. Which is kind of a nice system because, if you play a team early in the season and you lose to them, or you have a tight match, the second half of the season, basically, you have a good chance to, come back and try and,
Come back and take it out
get
on
crack
them.
about them.
Now, when these guys are, say they come in and they get 2-0'd, and then the second game they win 2-1. What happens if there's a tie? If two teams are 8-8, and that's the end of the league. How does the tie-breaking system work? That's something that always.
So for playoffs, if you have an 8-8 tie, or basically an identical record, we look at your record playing the other team that you have an identical tie with. So, um, in this case, I think we're looking earlier, we had a couple teams in silver that are tied record-wise right now. So if they end basically the end of the season this week, if they end it with the same record, we'll be looking at their record against each other. So if one team has beat the other team twice, then they'll be seeded higher than the other team. If they have, if they've both beat each other like 2-0, 2-0, it's perfectly identical record, then we'll probably have to flip a coin.
Right.
Um,
Well, I mean, if it's 2-1 and then 1-2 in the first game, and then the second game's 1-2, that's technically a tie, correct?
mhm.
Still a tie, and then we would go
Yep.
to
So I mean, if it's a 2-0-2-0 in favor of one team, that makes it really easy.
yeah.
It's a 2-0-2-1 in favor, that's still a little bit easier. So far, we haven't had that happen, so, knock on wood. We'll see what happens. I know between gold and silver. Gold league right now has three teams with identical records as of this week.
I see.
And there's
Looking at
two
those guys,
teams in silver with identical records, and then another team that's like really close by. So it's gonna be an interesting weekend.
definitely, definitely, and so this is they now during the week. These guys are required to play how many games in their week, or
Two.
two? They're forcibly made to play 2 games a week against the same person 2 times in a row, or they play them once early and then like once a couple weeks later.
The way we set it up is it was basically split like down week 5 actually, because 9 isn't an even way to split that, but in half I should say. So if you play a team in the first half of the season, you'll play them again in the second half. So,
You won't see
with
them
the
after the
exception of
fifth week.
one little boo boo, basically, you play two different teams a week.
Right. Well, that sounds interesting. So with these battles that go on, I know that the rules are required that they have. Are these guys in T10s? Are these guys playing T8 boats? How is the breakdown? Is there limits on the boats that they can do? They can't have like 9 civies out there, or eight carriers, obviously. But maybe
So
break
the
us down.
breakdown is you can have one carrier max. You don't have to bring a carrier if you don't want to, but there isn't really any reason to not
Reason
bring a
not to. Yeah.
carrier for the most part. So everyone brings one carrier. And then there is a max of 3 battleships and no more than 3 of a nation right now. Which
Okay.
means if you have, say, 3 North Carolinas, you can't bring any Bensons,
You
or
can't bring any.
if you
Right.
have 3 Bensons, you can't bring North Carolinas,
What
so on and so
does
forth.
their CV count for the same? Say if he brings in his
Yes.
Shokaku, then you can't have 2 Amagis, or you can't have 3 Amagis. That's the way that
CV
I
does
would.
count. Yep.
CV does count. All right.
And then the other additional rule is no more than 3 premium ships.
No 3 premium ships across, so no Kudasovs, like 3 Kudasovs on the team, or
You can
you
do 3
can,
Kutuzovs, you just
but you're
can't do
not
like
gonna
4
bring.
Kutuzovs.
Right, you can't. If you bring 3 Kudasovs, you're not gonna take a Turpitz in because you can't.
Yep,
All right,
exactly.
outstanding. So those are pretty interesting rules. Now I'm assuming you've watched a lot of these games that have gone on. What can the viewers expect here tonight between these 2 teams, Armor Knights and Fleet of Fog? Is there a certain meta that the teams have generally followed throughout the season?
Um, it's hard to say. At the start of the season was geared very heavily towards just a smoke meta with everything being smoked. Things are a lot more fluid now as the season has gone on. You see a lot of maneuvering. I mean, basically the key for a lot of these teams winning matches is where they position themselves on islands, how they, if they can take a point, hold a point, how they position themselves around the point.
How they use their destroyers, how the smoke happens, and if everybody's
Yep,
in
yep.
smoke, does the CV spot does the CV spots for you? Questions. We have questions from the chat here. It says 2 of them. Are these battles from the Gold or Silver League, and how many battles will there be? From my understanding, this is a Silver League battle, and there will be a one match consisting of 3 games, best 2 out of 3.
Yes, that is
Um,
correct.
if we have 1-1, are we set up to? go to a tiebreaker? Is there a certain map that we have tiebreakers on? Like, I know in
Yep,
some of
we
the other
actually
ones you
have
have tiebreaker, you have to play ocean.
we have a set map rotation for every week. We went through and just randomized it. Let me pull up the list for this match actually.
Tonight will be Armored Knights versus Fleet of Fog. I don't know of any other matches that I have been asked to cast, but this is the first one that I've been asked to cast. I don't think there's any more tonight that I'm going to be throwing up. It's up to you have to ask Sterling on the actual schedule, but this is the only one that I was pulled to cast. And right now we're just waiting on Warhawk to. We're waiting on the guys to tell us that their training room is up and ready, and then we can jump in there, and then we'll switch over from the main screen over
So
into the game.
the maps we are playing tonight are Sea of Fortune,
See,
Ocean, and Trident.
ooh, wow, the ocean for the second game,
Yep.
outstanding.
So it's a pretty diverse set of maps there, right there. Sea of Fortune is a moderate sized map, but it's got a lot of island cover there.
Absolutely.
Ocean
Ocean.
is,
Everybody
well,
knows
it's ocean,
is
you
ocean
know.
is ocean. There's nothing there. Now, are these based on epicenter or are they all domination?
They are all 3-point domination tonight.
All 3-point domination matches. This should be interesting. What team goes where and when their destroyers are going out to say A, for example, what the rest of the team is doing. Are they gonna follow this guy? Or are they gonna split their force to take A and B, A and C? It'll be interesting to see what their strategies are going to be tonight. What do you think?
It's definitely it depends on the fleet. Some teams like Kantai, for example, really like to send their DDs to basically go for every point. For a long time, that was a big Kantai thing. They send a DD to every single cap point. Sometimes, they'd get all 3 cap points. Sometimes they'd only get 1 cap point or 2. Other teams like to play it a little bit more close to the chest. Maybe take 1 cap point, hold it really well, and then sort of roll into another cap point. It also depends on the map too, because like a map like Ocean, there's not a lot of islands and stuff to hide behind.
But
So
there's
if you
nothing
can
on
spot
that
a
to
DD,
hide behind.
yeah, there's nothing there. So
I think
if you can dump torps through it or something, it can get real dangerous for DDs.
outstanding. What do you guys think? What would you think would be something that we should be looking for today out of the destroyer play, out of the battleship play that would maybe turn the tide of from one team to another here?
For maps like Sea of Fortune, destroyer play, the 2 things I would look for is securing those cap points and then kind of holding them. Usually the middle point B is always the point you really want to hold. Typically, so Sea of Fortune, when we watch that the first match, I would see whoever gets B first, or rather is able to hold B for a long time. That's what I'd look for out of the DDs. Secondary to that, probably smoking the fleet. Getting some good torp hits on the enemy fleet if they try and maneuver.
Right.
Little things like that.
I'm getting word that the training room is up and available now. If you want to jump in here with, do you have the training room? It is this one right here.
Believe I do.
There
Just
you
gotta
go.
log in back here.
Where am I at? I've not played this in a couple of matches here. There's a bot one. And I guess we can take if you want to take. Man, I don't even know how to put myself on one of these teams. Oh, there you go. I guess I'm going to be on Fog side this time, and then we'll switch for the next round.
Yep, looks like I'm on Armored Knights here.
All right.
What kind of ships are you seeing there for fog?
Right now, I just see a bunch of tier 8s because my mod is messing it up. So there's no names. There's no names. Let me go ahead and
think I think we're
switch
looking
over.
at 3 Bensons, a Kutsov, and a Tago. Um, Battleships look like Bismarck, maybe. Is that triple Bismarck? Not sure.
It's a possibility. They're all pretty strong. Looks like all right. So here's for the battleships. It looks like I have 2 North Carolinas, 1 Bismarck. Uh, I've got a Japanese, a Togo, I think, and then well, here we'll just look at it when we're loading in here. No movement until the carriers are dead. All right, we have a Shikaku, North Carolina Tirpitz, Bismarck, Kudasov, 2 Kudasovs, 2 Bensons, and a Fubuki from Sterling's side. And then I have a Shikaku, 3 Bismarcks, Omogami, which is an interesting choice. Kudasov, 3 Bensons on my side, which is the Fleet of Fog style or team. That an interesting choice with the Mogami. Now I understand that the Mogami has a very, very low detection range. If they have
It
that
does.
15
It
point
does
captain on,
indeed, but
once I
the Atagos is even lower, so I'm wondering if they meant to bring the Megami or if they didn't have an Atago captain ready.
that's a
Um,
possibility.
Definitely is.
It's will be definitely interesting to see because I know generally the Mogamis are not the one of choice here. They are now shooting at me here, and they are killing me, which is good. We will let it go, and I will drop my torpedoes on myself, and then we'll be able to move around and look and see. Well, looks like they're all going to kill me because they've set me on
Yeah,
fire.
looks like they're helping me along here. So I think
I
I'm in
am
the same place.
unable to launch my torpedoes. So all right. So we have a pretty interesting dispersion down here on the bottom left side. We have the 2 Bismarcks, a Kudasov and a Benson, and with their Shokaku, and then on the northern side of the map, or the
Well, it looks like Fog killed
eastern
their
side.
carrier first, so I don't know if that means anything for the match or not, but
Whenever you're dead, you're dead. Game on. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. So here on the Fog Clan side, it looks like some of the Bensons are starting to make their way slowly to A B cap. From what I can tell, I don't know what's going on your side of the map.
I think I'm looking at a Armor Knight pushing Bravo Charlie is what it looks like they want to go here.
BC, yeah. This will be an interesting match. Matchup at B. If nobody goes to A, the Fog should take that pretty handily, and you'll see a quick one. And then I suspect we'll see the Kudasov start launching his millions of miles range HE across the map, as we have some Shikaku has spotted the torpedo planes over on this side, and he's taking some of his fighters to chase those down.
Yeah, it looks like he was just doing a feint with those torpedoes, just trying to see if he could spot anything on A. In a lot of these matches, you see these high tier carrier players will just use dive bombers or torps. Sometimes they don't. They'll just drop the ammo in the sea for that extra speed too, just to get early game spotting for the team. If you can see where a fleet's going,
Right.
it'll let you
Absolutely.
know what you want to do.
Vision is such an important thing, as you see a really nice strafe there that takes out his own team, but he takes out his own planes, but he did kill several of the enemy ships.
It is a 3-on-1 now for the Armor Knights carrier. That's pretty good. With no fighters in the air, Armor Knights are going to have full spotting over the entire match real quick.
Absolutely, as we see.
So I don't know what's sitting on. I'm assuming one of the Bensons is sitting on Bravo.
The Benson,
he's going to have a bad time right here.
Both of the Bensons are on Bravo right now, and they've popped their smoke as they're taking damage from the Kudasov, And I thought I seen some North Carolina shells coming in there, mainly the Kudasov at this point. And the Fog Clan has taken out the Armored Knights fighters, so for a little while we got free reign over the skies over here on the Fog Clan. So we'll see how that plays out.
I would take a guess and to say those are probably Seahole Bensons rocking the AA dispersion and mod on there.
We got
Probably what killed those fighters so quick.
we have some Fubuki torps coming in, and if they've taken out the Benson from the middle, that is a very very
great
early
start for them.
very early advantage for the Armored Knights, and a very bad disadvantage as this next Benson here is looks
Excellent
like he's
use
going
of
to
that
dodge.
Fubuki there. Just
Excellent.
sending torps right through the smoke screen. Fog still is probably going to take this Bravo cap point though, so they're going to be up 2 cap points if they grab that. I guess the question becomes, can they hold that Bravo point?
It'll be interesting to see with one Benson down and the Fubuki's still up there, and they have 2 Bensons on the enemy team. It'll be interesting to see how they use their destroyers for the rest of this game. Now being down 1.
The 2 Bensons here from Arbor Knights are starting to move in on that Bravo cap. Wonder if we're seeing a movement there. Yep. Oh, they got Fog Battleship Colorado. Their other Benson there spotted. Oh, he's in a very bad place. He's got Armor Knights on either side of him. I think he's dead here, honestly. You got a Kutsev and a Bismarck on one side. He's got a Kutsev, 2 battleships and 2 Bensons on the other.
He's been spotted by the planes going overhead at this point, and one of the enemy DDs have gone into their smoke to the left side, so he has no recourse right now. But he's taking some massive damage from an invisible player at the moment. I can only assume it's the Kudasov that is firing at him. I can't see him, and as everybody's shooting on him, Tirpitz is firing on him. The Benson, now here comes a Benson, and there goes another Benson from the Fog battleship Fog fleet. Or Fleet of Fog,
as it is. Huge early game advantage to Armored Knights now. They're going to just roll into that Bravo cap, and Fog is definitely not set up to retake that Bravo cap. If you look at that little, basically the little tunnel, if you would, between A and B, it is absolutely tiny between A and B. If they want to get B, they've got to take a very long way around. Whereas Fog has a nice...
just took a massive shot of damage from one of the battleships back here, losing probably a couple of citadels on him. And as the Armored Knight Shokaku is now taking control of the skies, killing all of the Fleet of Fog's planes, all of his fighters. As the Fubuki's been spotted out here to the left by the Benson. And the Mogami is now throwing shells at the Fubuki as they are returning fire from Fog battleship Rodney from the Kudasov, and the Fubuki's firing at him. Now the Bismarck is taking shots at him. Mogami just took a couple of torpedoes here on this side, so he's down to 9,000 hit points. It doesn't look good for this Mogami.
I think they're going to lose both the Mogami and the Benson right now.
That's probably a good assessment here.
That's probably going to be it for Fog, I think, right here.
Game 1, and the Mogami does go down as he's taken down by the Tirpitz.
They're going to be down all their DDs right here.
For Fleet of Fog to win this, what they will need to do is take down this Fubuki and try to get some kind of equalization on the DDs. The Fubuki going down here now to that Benson, but that does not make much of a difference because he's down to 1,500 hit points and still taking damage from the Kudasov.
Looks like we are seeing the Bismarcks go right into Bravo there. I don't think they have much of a choice. They just got to pop that Hydro and hope they can, maybe nuke the Kutuzov and the Benson as soon as they get in there. That might even things up a little bit for them.
Well, they're gonna have to do something, and I know Bismarcks are very, very formidable when they're pushing in toward the late game. You don't want to see one coming in because they might not take citadels, and they do take a lot of damage. But it's gonna take you guys a lot of firepower.
I think that we're gonna see this Kutuzov go down right here. He just drove right out of his smoke screen.
Driving out of the smoke.
Oh my, he is 5.5 from a Bismarck.
Torp from a Benson coming in at the double Bismarcks.
3 Bismarcks.
Wow, he just took a big old smash of citadel damage there. And that should finish him off here in the next couple of seconds.
He's smoking up, but he is within Hydra range for all three of them. They are definitely spotting him.
Now everybody on the Armored Knights is now focusing the battleship Montana as they are trying to get rid of one of these Bismarcks, and then they will focus down after that on the next one. As there goes the Kudasov.
The Tirpitz is going in. Look at him go.
Let's see if the
They've held
Tirpitz
that
drops his
Tirpitz
torpedoes. He's trying.
Oh, he's going in.
It is time for YOLO time at this point for Fleet of Fog as he drops and hits 3 torpedoes on to the Bismarck Sagari here. Tirpitz is just taking some massive damage. Bismarck goes down finally, and more torpedoes from the left side. They have rammed. The Tirpitz has rammed the Bismarck to take him out. I don't know if that was purposely or maybe he was trying to get turned around and drop the torpedoes on somebody else. As now we have a Benson shooting. I think
either way, he did his job.
And that battleship Montana is going down.
That is 2 battleships down, 3 battleships down.
They are down. Fleet of Fog here is in a world of hurt, down to 1 Shokaku and 1 Kudasev, and nothing is being spotted at all whatsoever.
It's a pretty handy win for Armored Knights right here.
It's a pretty
commanding
win too. Yeah, it's a commanding defeat.
Just their early kills on those DDs, their positioning, as well as that air battle. They just dominated the air.
Real nice 2 torpedoes. I think it's all for naught here. This Sergeant Major Buzz, as being a Russian cruiser, your armor is pretty much non-existent. So any kind of damage coming in from any source is going to be very, very massive. And it's only a matter of time before he does go down, as he's trying to drop his torpedoes to try to defend himself just as much as he can. Now the Benson's here spotting him. He's really nowhere here for him to go. And this game should be ramped up pretty shortly here, I believe.
Take a look at that scoreboard, though. Even losing that many ships off the bat, Fog knocked off, four ships right there?
They did very well.
A Tirpitz.
Very, very interesting.
2 Gutsovs, a Fubuki. I think still not a bad score considering how far behind they really started off.
I think what has happened here is when you lose a destroyer way early like that, to torpedoes, I'm assuming random smoke torpedoes, because everybody out there knows that when you drop a smoke and you're sitting in the smoke, 2 things you don't want to do: set broadside number 1 and then eat a torpedo from the enemy destroyer number 2, as the Kudasov is here about to go down. And now we're down to Shokaku. And
when you keep a Fubuki around, you just gotta be careful with those smoke screens.
Absolutely. Do you think?
I think the thing that killed them there actually was losing the air cover over their smoke screen. They didn't have anything watching for torps for them. Maybe if they had a low yang or like a fighter or something sitting above the head, they might have been able to watch for torps and just hold that Bravo point. But
some
losing the air battle and not having
torpedo
Hydra.
dodges on the Shokaku drop there, on the enemy Shokaku, their Arizona Ghoul, has dodged some pretty nasty torpedoes. If you guys play the CV, you know how hard it is to get those things to maneuver left to right. And he did a very good job. He's taken some there. And that's pretty much it, man. This wraps it up. So actually, game, do you think that taking a Mogami into the game hurt the Fleet of Fog? Mogami is notorious for being very squishy as well.
I don't think it really got a chance to matter. I don't think either of their cruisers were really in a place to do much work. When you lose 2 DDs and you right off the bat like that, and then you lose the air battle, and you kind of lose the positioning battle too, there's not much left. Cruisers are kind of a damage over time class. So when you don't have much of a battle, it's kind of hard to judge. I think it's probably an inferior choice to an Otago, but I think on the flip side, if we were looking at Armor Knights for the Mogami, we probably would have seen it done a little bit more damage and stuff there too. So
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, play of the game. Do you have a play of the game there? I think star of the game is the Fubuki taking out the Benson with his early torps, in my opinion. I
would probably agree with that. That was just really spot on positioning with armored knights there. When they saw that fog team pushing for the A cap, they swung in hard through Charlie, and they just enveloped all those DDs in
They
there, and that was it for them. Taking
absolutely,
out 2 out of 3 Bensons right off the bat, just kind of tied a bow on the game for them.
yeah, they
5 minutes in, it's
cleaned it up.
really, really, really hard to come back from that.
They cleaned it up really, really famously there. I didn't get to see the in-game stats here because it just sends me back to port instead of showing me everything. Uh, but what did you think of the overall game there? Actually, I can go back and look at the team score here. With 2 kills on, and of course it doesn't give me their names. 2 kills on the 2 kills to the Bismarck, 3 kills to the Turpits here, 1 on the Benson, 1 on their North Carolina, and then 1 on
Turtles
their.
was definitely an interesting choice, and it definitely did some work there. It hasn't been as popular in the league this season. With the Bismarck's much much better secondary line, but I mean, you saw what that Turpits did. They kept it in reserves basically, and then when Fog tried to push into that cap point, boom, Turpits to the face.
Uh,
Um,
Turpitz is able
it's hard
to.
to argue with that.
Tirpitz is another one of those German battleships. As I was saying about the Bismarck, it is very, very tough. You're not going to kill it very fast, since it is obviously a Bismarck sister ship. It does have a lot of hit points. It also has those 6 kilometer torpedoes that are very, very dangerous, especially when you have a run like that where he's going into 3 different enemies. If he gets in between one of them, he can torp from both sides and just absolutely devastate anybody with those torpedoes. So Tirpitz obviously was a really, really good choice here as we're looking at the ending screen here, as I actually found it. There we go. As you see, the Tirpitz making plays. North Carolina showing up, 11 plane kills. Shikaku has gotten 34 plane kills against the fleet of Fogs. Really not too much going on the other side. Fleet of Fog, their Bismarck had 2 kills. One of their Fog battleships, and then their other Bismarck had the other kill on. So I
It's
mean, it was
definitely the strength
pretty.
that North Carolina, once they got it up in the islands with the Kutztoffs, there was nothing those planes could do to shake him out of Bravo.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Once they lost their first Benson, I think the team has gone through and have to quickly make adjustments. If you're down one ship, you have to quickly make adjustments, and people have to step up and do other things. And I don't think the Mogami was a good choice for that. Uh, you saw him move. You saw him move around to the left side of the map, and just really didn't have anything for him. As soon as he came behind the islands, the people that have charged him to be from the Armored Knights has were able to take him down relatively quickly, and really Mogami really didn't have a time to shine. In my opinion,
You know, I
Mogami shines really well if it is behind islands and has time to put those fires on people.
yeah, definitely. I think this one got I think this one just got misplayed from the very start. It looked like I think that Fog strategy of going to A was just it didn't work out. If you looked at where the Fog ships were at A, they didn't really have any shots into Bravo and Charlie, to support their DDs basically, as they made that aggressive push with their 2 DDs for Bravo, and then they didn't have any fleet back behind them to keep them alive. So Armored Knights were just able to push up, literally their entire fleet minus, I guess, the Shikaku, if you
Absolutely.
will, up into Charlie and the top part of Bravo. So
Abs-
even if that Fubuki Torp hadn't killed the first Benson, he probably still would have been dead. Because if you saw that second one, he was just stuck there. He had 2 different angles on him from basically 8 ships there. So
Absolutely,
just
absolutely.
about
I,
any
I,
ship
I
will die
think that
there.
I think the biggest thing is when you have a team that pushes into B like that, and they have smoke, and with the Kudasovs that they can stick around the battleships, and then the battleships being there, being able to take so much damage from very minimal sources. I really don't think Fleet of Fog had really a chance as soon as they got into B, because now you have to use all of your hit points to go try to push them out. Not only that, you're also down ships, and you're having to fight uphill battle all the way, especially when you lose your DD first thing. There's no extra torps. You're not going to get a protection on the smoke, and you lose a lot of spotting chances. And as we saw, the Armored Knights Shukaku had pretty much dominated the air after that first battle. From then on, you really didn't see too many drops. This game was over really, really fast. There's really not much you can say about it other than better positioning and more hit points. More hit points.
I mean, from the shooting, both teams are shooting pretty well. Fog got a bunch of kills there, so hopefully on Ocean we'll see them, you know, switch up their strategy or something, play a little better. I mean, Ocean's kind of there's literally nothing there, so
We're
this
gonna
could
have
be a
to
much tighter match in
a
Ocean as we see them try and gun it out as opposed to battle for positions on islands and stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, as we go in between the games here, I'm gonna jump over in the Armored Knights side this time. If you want to jump in, and as the next game is up and ready to go.
So what kind of deck do you think they're going to bring to this?
What do you mean, depth?
What kind of deck? What kind of ships do you think you would bring here?
In an ocean,
Do you think you
as
stick with
many
that
hit points
Fubuki?
as I can. Maybe a Fubuki, a Lo Yang would be very, very effective with his hydro. As you know, that there's going to be
Torpedo
carriers.
soup.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Honestly, I think we're probably going to see something very, very similar to what we had before, with the North Carolinas on one side and North Carolina's Bismarcks, and well, here we go. It looks like two North Carolinas on one side, but we'll see as we load in. What are you thinking, man?
I'm not sure. I've seen people go a lot of different ways in Ocean. A lot of teams, doesn't matter what map they're on, they play pretty much the same deck. Some teams, they like to change it up a lot per map. So
Doesn't look like there's too much
here's the
change
final
here.
panel.
There's four destroyers here on the one side of the team. The Armored Knights team has four destroyers,
Wow,
and
yeah. So they
we have a
sacrificed
Bismarck, Benson, and two Fubukis.
now
Uh,
this is very, very interesting.
I'm interested to
Two
see this
two
Chappie
really different
and
ideas.
Trashkent
So
in this game.
Fog, it looks like they sacrificed. I don't know why they got the Tashkent, but
I'm not sure.
it
I'm not
looks like
sure.
they got a Chapayev in there for radar. They've got triple Bismarck again, so that is plenty of hydro. On the flip side of that, Armored Knights is only running two battleships, if I'm seeing this correctly, and they're bringing an extra Fubuki. So they got two Bensons, two Fubukis. That is quite a bit of DD power.
Uh, are they allowed to take the four destroyers?
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. Four destroyers. This game will be interesting. When you see a Chapayev in there, you know you got to be wary of the radar. I'm still not understanding why the trash can. I'm sorry, the tash can. There you go. I don't understand the tash can't play. I do understand that they do have 8 kilometer torpedoes, but their guns are what shines for the tash can. It's be very
I think it's
interesting.
just an odd choice. It's never been very popular in competitively because it's just too big.
It,
I remember watching some matches earlier in the season in which a team thought bringing a trash can would be a really good idea, until they got one-shotted or two-shotted by Amagi's like 2 matches in a row, and I don't think I've seen anyone play one again.
playing a trash
Um,
can. Well, since
it's
we're
definitely a big ship. It's got some hit points, but
It's a very fast boat too. It's faster than the Benson or the Fubuki, so maybe they're trying to make an early play with it. I understand. Maybe they also will hang it back and use its smoke to hide some of their bigger ships, the Bismarcks on the other team. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
well, definitely gonna have to be. They're gonna be have to be. Wow, English. How do I? Um, with the Chapayev here, they're gonna have to be really careful. If they can sneak that Chapayev up, one really well-timed radar with the fleet can just erase a DD.
If they're on point, and
If
they're on
everyone's
point,
looking
they
at
can
him
do
and you
very
pop
well
that
here.
radar,
So it looks like Armor Knights at the beginning of game 2 are making, they're sending one Fubuki and one Benson out to sea, and it looks like their Kudasov and the rest of their fleet is starting to shift the direction of Charlie here. What's going on your side as we see the Shikaku's dueling it out in the mid over B
it
with their
looks like
fighters?
Fog is actually putting all 3 of their DDs on the Bravo cap from what I am seeing here. I'm seeing the 2 Bensons are going to go into Bravo. It looks like the trash can's following them. I really hope it's not. I really hope, for at least its sake, it stays out of the Bravo cap, maybe shadows the Bensons if it wants to help.
Yeah,
Um,
we are getting
Look at all those
shots.
fighters, though. Every single one is tied down. So this is just a RNG battle at this point.
Absolutely. As we see,
Um,
the fleet
unless
of Fog's
Hagzilla
Benson has
pops his
been
AA.
spotted, and so is one. Oh, there's another DD. Yeah, there you go. There's the Tashkent has been spotted, and now everybody's starting to shoot at the Benson as the Bismarcks are shooting
Looks
at
like every
Radman.
DD is shooting here. I'm shooting all 3 of them are spotted.
As the Benson has to
Where
drop his
is that
smoke to
Chapayev?
maybe save himself. The Chappie is up there next to Charlie. We'll see how that plays. As the Fubukis or the Bensons have dropped their wall of torpedoes here across the middle of B, as Armor Knights take Charlie here, and it looks like the Armor Knights are going to back up off of B, let the 3 destroyers have Bravo, as the Tashkent is staying spotted here. This is why I don't
with
understand here why they would take a Tashkent, but I guess maybe it's a distraction, or I don't know, but it's not much of a distraction if he dies really early.
With the 2 Bensons, 2 Fubukis, I would honestly let Fog just have that Bravo cap. Just have
Absolutely.
every single DD start. Yep, and I think I can see the torps coming in now. Just start torping everything.
Absolutely. Throw a bunch
You're
of
gonna hit
torps.
something with that many torps, right?
From the point of view of the Armored Knights here, you can see that the entire fleet of Fog has balled up around Charlie. So that leaves A open, as you see Captain Fezzik trucking on down to A and his Benson to maybe cap that and get some points, as they've already got C. So they're going to already have a 6-point, 9-point advantage now. We'll see. Man, this is very interesting, as now Hagzilla is starting to chase down back to A to try to chase down Captain Fezzik in the Benson. So, man, what a game already. Interesting choices between the Tashkent, who has been spotted pretty much this entire game and is now down to 11,000 hit points. I can't wait to see.
8,000.
Yeah, he just took a big old chunk of damage. 8,000 damage left. What is this Tashkent looking for, man? I don't understand I still don't understand the play. Maybe after the game we can get in and talk to some of the captains, and maybe we can get their thoughts on it, of why they would take a Tashkent.
Maybe they just ran out of Benson drivers or something. I
That's
don't
a
know.
possibility.
Because they have that last US slot with the triple Bismarck.
So Raidman here has been taking a massive amount of damage. He's down 20,000 hit points, now 30,000 hit points. It looks like the entire fleet of Fog is focusing on him because he has shown up. He is spotted on the screen here, and it doesn't look like the Bensons or the Fubukis are going to put him in a smoke, as Pedro's mustache down here on the Armored Knights is now also down at 7,000 hit points. So maybe the idea of having a Tashkent to get people to shoot at them, and then now they've released their spots, or they've identified themselves on the map, and now they can be focused down. I think this is what's happening here, as the fleet of Fog is
like
just overwhelming
the 2
seaside.
battleships here for Armored Knights are really split up. There goes the Kutsov. That is 1 Kutsov down out of 2 for Armored Knights. Bismarck Radman is probably going to go down pretty quick. Hopefully he can buy them some more time at least. But
tank it a
being
little
down
bit.
those 2 ships isn't good. They've only got 1 battleship and like an entire very late fleet left.
Absolutely.
Against the Chapayev.
Absolutely. As you see, Radman's down to 5,000 now. He's taking a big old smack from Fog Battleship
Montana with the final shot there.
In the Bismarck, doing very well. This game is totally different than what we saw the last game. It was kind of a raffle stomp. in the last game, and this game is definitely Fleet of Fog has come back with a vengeance, taking
Look
out
at them.
two
Oh,
boats
they've.
early, and
I
now
didn't
they're
notice
just
they've got 2 out of 3 caps there.
absolutely they have.
Fubuki is 7-9 away from that Chapayev. I don't think he's even hit the radar button yet. Um, oh, look
He's
at those
look at
secondaries going
everything,
at him.
man. The Bismarck secondaries are going crazy on the Fubuki now. The Tashkent's shooting at him. The Kudasov is also everybody's shooting at their Fubuki Jobo.
That
It's
is
very
3
unfortunate.
Bismarck secondaries in a
Uh,
Chapayev.
the Benson Hagzilla has gone down to Captain Fezzik down at B, as they are slowly trying to push back in. But this is a brilliant strategy here, moving everybody to C, killing the opposition, and then charging through Charlie, and then now they are pushing their advantage here as Fog Battleship Colorado goes down to the Kudasev, and there goes the Fubuki for the Armored Knights.
Look at that. The Tashkent is the last fog destroyer left, if you
And
can believe it.
who would have thought? Who would have thought that? I know as soon as I sang the trash can, I was like, no
A little
way.
too aggressive there on the fog DD's part this match, I think. But look at all that. There's the
And there goes
Kutsov.
the Kudasov.
There
Bismarck
is
dominating
nothing
the
left to really
Kudasov there.
check this Chapayev.
Nope. Nothing is happening here unless the North Carolina gets a really, really nice bow in front overmatch pin here on the Chapayev. He's pretty much dominating the rest of this game as a Fubuki. The Fubuki Logos is about to go down. He's at 8,000. Benson's at 8,000. Captain Fezzik, Benson's at 10,000. Shikaku is off on the edge of
It's
the map
still
of
a
where he's supposed
close
to be.
game, but
I'm
I
not
think
seeing
triple Bismarck, I don't know, versus triple DD. I'd give it to the Bismarcks and the Chapayev. See if we can get some good torpedoes here.
well with the amount of life that's left on the Fubukis
Oh,
on the
Carolina
destroyers.
spotted again.
I believe the Chappie has hit his radar, and now everybody's focusing down everybody here. You had secondaries going off on the Warhawk. He is about to go down. The Fubuki's down to 5,000 hit points at this point, and you really don't see too much of aircraft carrier doing much of anything other than spotting here at this point, as we see the Warhawk
With
North
that
Carolina,
North Carolina
going down.
the,
Look at these
the
torps.
Chapayev is just going to
Fubuki
have
torps,
a
last
field
chance.
day.
Last chance. Ooh, Surf's Naked just dodged some really nice torpedoes from the Fubuki as the Bismarck secondaries from Fog Battleship Montana takes down the Fubuki from the Armored Knights. And there's down to two Bensons sitting here in the middle at B. Any chance for them to come back from this? And they're going to have to hit some major torpedoes, as it looks like they're spotted. And
Chapayev says
Chappie's
no.
the
Get out of my
Chapayev is shooting on him. 931 damage. Captain Fezzik goes down, and this one I'm gonna have to call this one for Fleet of Fog coming back with a vengeance on this game. Outstanding game as the Benson now goes down. Another Benson goes down. The only thing we have left on Armored Knights is the Shikaku, and surprisingly enough, they lost all three. Fleet of Fog has lost all three of their destroyers, but the last destroyer to go down was the Tashkent. So, I mean, maybe, hey, it worked out this game, right?
Well, I mean, definitely. Fog made a great call there, I think, when they saw all the DDs. They pushed in, they took out the heavy stuff, and after that, there wasn't really anything left. Kind of the problem with bringing that really light fleet is something like a Bismarck is a pretty hard counter to a DD.
There's definitely.
Or at least as hard counter as you can get between the hydro and the secondaries. I mean, look at the health on their Bismarcks. One's got 17,000 health, and he's a low end.
Well, the only one that we can see over
48,
here is
60.
from the Shikaku. We have 17,000 on the Bismarck and 48,000 on Surf's Naked. Surprisingly enough, the Chapayev still has a major portion of his health points, and the Kudasov is full health. So they were unable to. The battleships were unable to pretty much do anything versus the Fleet of Fog's Bismarcks. I mean, they're still relatively healthy.
I don't think I really saw the fleet even take too many torpedo hits. I don't think I saw the Chapayev take a single one. I'm assuming the Bismarcks had to have taken some from their damage, but with 4 DDs, you got to be pumping out some torpedoes, and I just don't know how you pull it off on 3 Bismarcks.
There we go, boys. That is the end of game number 2. Now, hang on, guys. We'll be coming down to game number 3 as we go through the team scores real fast here. The Bismarck surfs naked with 2 kills and 8 planes shot down. Sergeant Major has 5 planes shot down. The Fleet of Fog carrier dominated this game and was not able to do anything on the last game with 37 planes shot down. And
Yeah,
then
look at
their
that total
Bismarck
flip flops.
Sagari here with one kill and 8 planes, and then Fog Battleship down here on the bottom with a Kraken. He pulls out 5 kills. Fog Battleship Montana. So congratulations, he kind of dominated this game all the way around.
I would love to
even
see
up.
how much damage that Chapayev had. I'm very surprised to see he did not get any of those kills, considering I'm sure he did a
Very
lot of the work on all the DDs as well as everything else. Definitely always an interesting play to bring a Chapayev on this match.
well. I think
You know, can be
Chapayev.
risque with no islands or anything, but against 2 battleships that weren't really focusing him.
I think Chapayev. All right, so who would you think would be your star of the game? I gotta actually give it to Red Leg here in the Tashkent, being the last surviving destroyer and taking fire pretty much the entire game. So congratulations to survival there for as long as he did, and then obviously getting a Kraken on Fog Battleship Montana. Outstanding game on both sides, being able to take the 2 caps early, C and A. Just were not able to hold as their team was split apart from each other, trying to focus both caps, and then the Fleet of Fog was together focusing one team. I think focus wins these games 90% of the time.
Absolutely, especially when you got that big HP pool difference. You know, extra 3 Bismarcks versus a Bismarck in North Carolina. Between the HP pool, the secondaries, the Hydro going there. If you can just hunt down ships individually, you know, they're just going to go down. I mean, Fog, other than their DDs, Fog didn't really take too many losses there. Um, I don't know if I'd really give a single play of the game there. I think that Chapayev did some serious work.
Chapayev
He also
did
had,
excellent work
basically
with his radar and coordinating the radar with the enemy team, where they are when they were popping up on the smoke or when the smoke would come out, and then Chappie obviously pushed his radar, and they were able to continue the assault on the battleships and on the destroyers as well.
fortunately, when you're spectating, you can't see when the radar is popped. But I know from sitting and watching that Chapayev, mid game onwards, he had those DDs just perma spotted. You know, between him and the carrier, if he wasn't hydro radaring them, the carrier had them spotted. You know, those poor DDs had nowhere to run. You know, on a map this size. That's saying
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely. Excellent game from Fleet of Fog. Definitely different from the first match or the first game that we've seen, where they
Very different from both
an
teams, actually.
early mistake. We had an early mistake, and I guess wherever side that you would like to be on, if you want to stay on the Flog Fleet, and then I can go over for the third rubber match on Trident here. Where would
Oh,
you
looks
like to
like we're
be?
starting already.
Yeah,
Not
they're
taking
ready
the
to
full
go.
10 minutes. Let's just see wherever they put us.
And I think I'm going to be on Fog Fleet this time, and there we go, guys. Looks like the next game is right there. Now they do have a 10-minute break in between games. They can take that, or they don't have to. That's their choice if they want to take those 10 minutes. But once both teams are ready, we'll be ready to go.
This is going to be an interesting game. Arbor Knights won that first one based off positioning very, very handily. Fog won the second one based
Just
off
by
just pure in-game, you know, tactics very handily. So
It was an
this is going to be
outstanding
interesting.
performance in both games from both teams. We see one team gets an advantage early, and the other team is not able to come back from that. We saw it in the first game with the loss of the Benson early, and they would know that, hey, I don't have to worry about this Benson anymore, so now I can take all my battleships and all my rest of my team into B. We saw it in the first game, and then the second game. teams being together and all forming up on one side at Charlie from the Fleet of Fog Fleet of Fog here, and then being able to just out damage and out hit point the enemy team that were only had one or two people on that one side. I think excellent teamwork, excellent team play here. All right, so Fleet of Fog has 3 Bismarcks again, a Chappie, a Kudasoft, two Bensons, and a Tashkent.
Bringing the Tashkent again.
Bringing the
Alright.
Tashkent. It
Let's
worked
see
for
what
him
they're
last
doing
game.
with
It is a bold move. Let's see how it works out for him. Tashkent is not typically one that you want to bring in ranked
This is
situations.
definitely not a map I'd bring a Tashkent on either. It is
exactly
too small for that little guy.
And as we see on the enemy team are the I'm calling them enemy team here, but Armored Knights are bringing a North Carolina Tirpitz and a Bismarck, 2 Kudasofts and 2 Bensons and a Fubuki. So we'll see how this works out for them as well. And so I am going to have to
they've got
actually,
kind of the full
I'm going to have
deck
to
of-
torp myself this time, as I don't think anybody can actually shoot me here. Yep, yes they can. Oh, no, don't do that. That's not what I needed to do.
The ship is on fire.
I am on 4 fires, and I am going down here. There we go. All right, boys. I am dead. All right. So here in the early game, I see a Kudasov and a Benson heading out toward the far right of the map, the eastern side of the map, and we have the Tashkent is positioned in the middle. Then we have the Chapayev and Battleship Colorado Benson over here on the left side, and rounding it out, looks like the triple Bismarcks of Fleet of Fog are heading off toward the seaside of the map. What's going on your neck of the woods? Oh, you're still trying to kill yourself.
Yeah, I'm still trying to kill myself. Unfortunately, my terrible carrier skills are coming out here.
Oh, were they not
that is
in
a
range
bunch
to
of
kill you?
torpedoes. I should be dying here. It looks like we are going for the Charlie side as well.
This will be an interesting fight here.
Got
then.
1 DD on Charlie already. It looks like there's a second DD coming in to help him. And the Fubuki is kind of in the back. It looks like he's just kind of torping things. Torping Alpha maybe.
It'll be an interesting play as Fleet of Fog sees that Charlie Cap is now is almost captured by the team, and then you finally got yourself killed here, so that's great. Charlie Cap is almost finished as you see shots coming in as the Benson is spotted. Now he's going to have to pop his smoke here in the middle. Hagzilla is. Interesting to see how come when the Fleet of Fog has seen the Tirpitz and North Carolina Bismarck, they've been spotted the entire game to this point. Wondering why they didn't send their last Benson over there just to try to YOLO Cap A real quick. It's an interesting move there, as our Kudasov Major Buzz has now popped his smoke and is starting to shoot at whatever's spotted at this point. Torpedoes in the middle to the
Both
Benson.
These fleets are sort of slow rolling into Charlie, but I don't really know where they're going.
Hagzilla's now getting
there's a lot of strong
cross-torpedoed.
islands in this map, but they're not
dodged
really headed to any of them.
15. He has dodged 14 torpedoes there. Hagzilla has. So congratulations on him. It's an excellent destroyer maneuvering to dodge 2 sets of Benson torps and a cross-dropping Shokaku torpedoes. Very excellent. Although he did take over half of his hit points to try and Cap B, and they are keeping the Cap B set by having Hagzilla spotted, and still continuing to punish him for that for being spotted. They still have yet to Cap B, as Raidman is now taking a load of damage. He is down 20,000 hit points. I think they're spreading the love, as some guys are shooting on the Bismarck and some guys are shooting on the North Carolina. I would assume
I see
that
shots being spread between the two of them. They really got to focus that far if they want to kill one.
absolutely, especially this early in the game, trying to take down 50,000, 60,000 hit points is a very daunting task. as Hagzilla's dodging more torpedoes. Those look like Fubuki torpedoes. Man, I tell you what, so far in this early game, Hagzilla dodging all these torpedoes and staying alive with 5,000 hit points is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Very, very excellent maneuvering ability there on the Benson.
Fog Battleship Montana there taking a lot of damage. He is now at 43,000, putting him, I think, the lowest of any battleship on the field.
He is taking shots from, I'm assuming that is a destroyer there in the smoke, as the Warhawk, the North Carolina, Bismarck, and Kudasov are trying to get into the wall of smoke that is left there, as Bismarck takes a huge amount of damage. I can only assume that comes from their battleships. And he's just continually getting pummeled. And now he is in secondary range of Jobo, so you'll start seeing some damage come back the other direction. But man, what a massive hit to Fog Battleship Montana here, as he's down to 17,000 hit points. So maybe he can get around the corner.
Armor
and
Knights,
heal
it looks
up
like
here.
they're going to turtle up in those smoke screens. They are still kind of in the open there, though.
Major Buzz
If
was
Fog
spotted.
starts cross-torping them, they are going to do some damage, because there are...
As we see Tirpitz, Mr. Locos here, and the Tirpitz is now making a run around the corner at B to try to... I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to distract, or maybe bring some attention away from that North Carolina, who has rolled out of the wall of smoke.
Fog's definitely got to be careful.
As Fog
A
Battleship
full-health
Colorado
Tirpitz
torpedoed
right
the
there.
Kudasov through the smoke wall, and is now they are down one Kudasov. And if we have lost Hagzilla has finally gone down the Benson. So one destroyer to
Tirpitz
one
has
cruiser.
great shots on their battleships, though. If he can get in there, he's got their attention.
Absolutely.
I just don't know if it's worth it, because the rest of the fleet isn't moving up to take advantage of this.
I think
Warhawk is pushed out of the smoke dock.
I think Fetal Fog
Pedro's
has,
mustache is smokes over.
I think Fog Fleet here has not pushed their advantage here. Being down at Kudasov, I know they are down one destroyer here, but Warhawk North Carolina here is about to go down. He's down to 3,000 hit points.
Surfer Naked.
Surfer Naked takes a massive shot, and he is gone. So that's one battleship down. I don't think they're using their hit points effectively here, as the Tirpitz is now drawing all of the fire, and they're receiving very minimal back from Bismarck and everything that is sitting in that smoke. What's all sitting in that smoke right there at Charlie right now that's shooting at Sagari?
Now look at that poor Tirpitz. He's got double fires on him. He has 2 Bismarck secondaries, a Chapayev, both the remaining DDs.
It's a very interesting strategy here. With him coming around the corner, he has vision on all of the enemy team being behind that nail.
I'm
So
surprised
if
he went
they've
in.
used
If he had-
him as a sacrificial lamb just to get the spots off, it has paid off famously. If they've swung the game, one Tirpitz for a Chapayev, a Bismarck, and another Bismarck, is a very excellent strategy here. And as you see, the Tashkent is still alive over there.
I'm not sure I agree there, because if you look at this this Benson on the side, Stay Thresh, he's getting all the same spots that the Bismarck was doing. And I think the Bismarck honestly could have turned out and just kited there and gotten the same amount of damage and stuff and still been alive. So I still think that's a little bit of a misplay on them. They definitely rolled with it and was able to get some stuff down. Like Warhawk is now up to 10,000 health, but I don't know if it was worth saving a Carolina to sacrifice the entire HP of the Tirpitz. They're still up, and they still got some better positioning. But...
Now, my thing was they are continuing to get the spots as I can see everybody, but there's only 2 people on the map right now. I don't know what happened on your side of the map because I can't see the spots from there. But the Tirpitz, the only thing I could think of was the Tirpitz was spotting all 3 of the battleships that were behind the island, opening them up to damage from the people that aren't spotted, like that were in the smoke wall there at Charlie. Excellent idea as the Tashkent is finally going to go down here from the Benson. The 2 Bensons are going to attack him. And should kill him pretty quickly with 2 of them shooting on a Tashkent. He's going to do a little bit of damage, but he's going to go down pretty quick. As everybody is now spotted here, North Carolina is spotted, the Kudasov is spotted. They are about half health here, and I don't know, man. They got a very massive ship advantage off of that Tirpitz run. So I think that's I think overall, I think the strategy was a sound strategy, as that now the fog fleet is pretty much scattered around the map, and they just have to get together and kind of push into them and finish
Once they
off
were
the
able to
game.
turtle up behind that island, they were definitely able to really sit and focus that fire and finish off ships.
So
And
Benson,
you
will we
know,
see a
fog the
Benson go
fog
down to
couldn't quite
torpedoes
do the
here?
same
Looks
there.
like Benson taking one torpedo out of the fog battleship Colorado arsenal there. Yeah, interesting strategy to leave A wide open here. Not have anybody cap A. This is there any particular reason why they would leave that cap open here?
You know, a lot of times it's just not worth it to cap that extra point. Sometimes if you have a ship that spawns there, like a DD, it's not bad to cap it just to put a little bit more pressure on the other team. But I don't think I really saw any DDs on our side spawn too close to A. The Fubuki was kind of near it, but you know it's not a good idea to send a Fubuki to a cap alone. So
Not
that's
with
probably
a
why they
Benson or a
decided not to
Tashkent
grab
in the
A.
game. Yeah. Well, Fog Battleship Montana is down to 17,000 hit points, and the Benson Fog Battleship Colorado is now taking damage from several sources, as we see the Shikaku dropping bombs on top of the Bismarck, and doing some damage. Doesn't look like he caught any fires, but now here comes the torpedoes, and it looks like he's actually gonna take one or two of these torpedoes, and 1 and 2, and that will take care of the Bismarck. The Kudasov is spotted with 5,000 hit points. The Sergeant Major Buzz here. I think it's just too much here. This game is pretty much over at this point. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
we're just in the cleanup phase.
We are in the cleanup phase.
There's a lot of ships here that are very damaged for armored knights, but I think both teams put themselves in similar positions. Armored Knights was just able to turtle up with a smokescreen and then use that to
wonderful
buckle
shot
down
from
and finish stuff
Radman,
off.
citadeling the Kudasov from way out, from downtown, boys. He said Kobe, as he destroyed that Kudasov from miles and miles away. Excellent shot by Radman in the Bismarck there. So that's pretty much it. We have Fog Battleship Colorado is over here at the A cap as he's trying to run away, and the Shikaku is now sending his planes in. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this game is pretty much wrapped up. And congratulations to the Armored Knights for winning this third and decisive game. As it's still too early to call, but it doesn't look very pretty for it. So far, the big, bold strategy of sending that Tirpitz in seems to have paid off in this game. It doesn't look like the Kudasov paid off, or not the Kudasov, but the Tashkent has paid off very well at all. It didn't really seem like it was doing much of anything. Still don't understand the Kudasov or the Tashkent being in the game, but hey, they have their own strategies, man. It's not my strategy. As Fog Battleship Colorado should be able to take down the Fubuki. As he's taking fire from the Kudasov here. Well, if he can hit him. And Bismarck has now got the Shikaku on lockdown, firing shots at him as the Kudasov is able to take down the Benson, but not before he could take down the Fubuki and Jobo. So now we're just waiting on the Shikaku to go ahead and die, and then we can do the breakdown on the rest of the game. Excellent matches today by both teams here. That should move Armored Knights up to 9-7. And unfortunately, Fleet of Fog here will move down to 7-10.
I think they had a bye win this week too, so that should put Armored Knights up to 10-7 to end their season, if I'm doing the math correct here. So nice job, guys. I think that'll probably solidify them in 4th place.
Okay. With 4th place will play 5th place in the. If you have 8 teams, correct? 8 teams in each of the leagues, and fourth place will play 5th place. So you might see these guys. You might see if Fleet of Fog will end up in the 6th rank, so they will end up having to play some of the higher teams in the league. It's
possible. Fog could end up the 5th seed, and we could end up seeing these two go against each other
go
in
against each
playoffs
other.
very
Absolutely.
quickly.
And there we
That
go.
would be an interesting series.
I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to hear about it and see it and maybe even
Look at
cast
those
it.
Shikaku scores.
The Shikaku scores
completely even.
30 planes on either side, so there's real no plane advantage here. The Shikaku did take out one plane, or 30 planes plus one ship of the Bismarck toward the end of the game, where it didn't really, it was pretty much decided at that point, so it was kind of a superfluous kill. Bismarck, Radman taking out three people in this game. The Bensons stay tough. Two people, one plane kill. That's always fun to see plane kills on destroyers. I know I enjoy them. Kudasov taking out one. North Carolina coming in full force here. Warhawk taking down 24 planes, which is devastating to a Shikaku, especially when you lose another 30 planes from the enemy Shikaku, and then a smattering of other planes down. Overall, I think it was just for very, very interesting games here. And so congratulations
Impressive
to
Warhawk even lived there. I think he had 1,000 health at one point.
He was down
Healed up to
well
probably
below
20,000.
He was down well below. Excellent games on both sides. Chapayev really shining through on the ocean map, but unable to do much of anything here on this map. Tashkent did very well on the one map and did not do so well on this map. What are your assessments of Fleet of Fog? Where do they go from here in their mentality? I know they've taken some questionable choices over this entire match, taking the Mogami the first game, and then taking the Tashkent and Chapayev here in the second and third game.
I don't think that's I wouldn't worry if I was them too much about ship choices. I mean, that's just such an easy thing to fix. And usually, when you have a bad ship, usually it's just like a player's missing or something like that, or some of that stuff you can really work out beforehand. Really no problem. It's definitely some of the, comes down to your positioning and your shooting, and it looked like they shot okay tonight, so they just got to go through and look at some of their strats again. Definitely see if Fortune didn't work out so well. Ocean worked out really well for them. This last match for both teams, I'm not really sure what either one was going for. Arbor Knights pulled it out there, but before they were able to really get any of their smoke screens going, half their ships were almost dead. Warhawk was almost dead. He had 1,000 health left. The two Kutsovs were almost dead. So, a little bit,
I think both teams
pretty close, like overall between the two of them right there.
I think both teams made some mistakes, but the Armored Knights were able to take advantage of the mistakes being made by the Fleet of Fog here in some of these games, and I don't necessarily think that it's personal mistakes, but losing a Benson, things happen. It's accidental. Hey, I turned left. I should have turned right. Maybe I did it. Maybe I did get my boat around, and could be a lot of different factors of why people go down. Other than hey, I got shot and killed. But Armored Knights taking advantage of some of the mistakes from Fleet of Fog here. And very surprising because that game early on could have gone either way, especially with Warhawk taking so much damage and missing the smoke. I think he missed the smoke early on, and that's what happened. He sailed through it, and if they were able to take down Warhawk there, that would have been a total different change in strategy. You don't send the Tirpitz out to spot for you. You lose that Tirpitz and for nothing, as opposed to you lose the Tirpitz and you end up taking out 3 of the enemy ships. Excellent gameplay. Excuse me. So now we have Warhawk here. How's it going, Warhawk?
It's going pretty good.
Hey, congratulations on your win. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What were you guys thinking when y'all saw the first game, the matchups, the way that they were playing? What are your general strategies for these games when y'all are going in here? Now, don't give it all away, but give us a little insight of what you guys are thinking, taking the choices of the North Carolina and a Bismarck versus a Tirpitz or triple Bismarcks as Fleet of Fog would come in here.
Well, for us, we have our guys play to the strengths of their ships. There's some of us run Bismarck's better than others. Unfortunately, I can't play the Bismarck. My life depended on it, but I'd seem to be pretty good in the North Cal, at least at my current skill level. And we've got our overall strategy is built around upon a basic idea of just playing towards our strengths and trying to mitigate most of our weaknesses.
That North Carolina definitely helped you guys out. That last match, you guys killed a lot of planes in it. Actually,
Yeah,
both matches you killed quite a few planes.
yeah. I have to admit I was kind of surprised in that first match when Fogg's carrier tried to run a strike on me. I mean, I'll take it. I
Absolutely.
that North Carolina A will chew them up, and that's I tell my guys that North Carolina's A is like a Cleveland on steroids.
It is very good. Everybody knows that Cleveland's AA is one of the best at tier 6. It must be a very relieving factor to know that you guys are now moving into 9-7 or 10-7 as it were because of the bye week. Um, uh, Going into the playoffs, you're going to solidify your lead here, depending on what happens in the rest of the league here for this week. You will be in the playoffs, and as from what it looks like right now, solidifying your fourth place spot. What does that mean? What does that mean to you guys as a team here?
Well, with the kind of solidifying the position, I told my guys, yeah, most of my guys have never had any kind of competitive experience before in any kind of video game. This is for a lot of my guys. This is their first time. I played a season in the WGLNA, for example, and a couple of our other guys have played Clan Wars and World of Tanks, so they had that going for them as far as experience goes. So for us to be placing where we're currently at in the standings for our first venture into this kind of setting, I think is just tantamount to the dedication and the hard work that our guys have put in and put forth on this as an effort.
Absolutely, absolutely, and congratulations to all your guys on a well-performed match. I was kind of worried about you the second game as they all balled up around C, as the fleet of fog balled up around Charlie there on the ocean map, and you guys were kind of spread out there. Toward on your guys' side, so you guys went down really early, took a lot of damage that was probably unnecessary damage. What do you say after a loss like that, and what do you say to your team to get them prepared for the third game?
Well, we've always had kind of a standing rule within Armor Knights, regardless of whether we're playing, like we play World of Tanks. They're currently active in Clan Wars there, and we just brought the same mentality over to Warships that, win, lose, or draw, that match is over. It's time to move on to the next one. We'll go back later and review and see what mistakes we made and uh, make adjustments from there and learn from our mistakes. Win or law, whether we win or lose, is not as nearly important as it is that we learn from those mistakes and become better players for it.
No, when you guys are, I'll ask you just one or two more questions, and then I'll let you go because I know you want to go and talk to your team here. Um, when you guys are going into the first game and you see the enemy Benson die to torpedoes from the Fubuki, excellent advantage coming up. What do you tell your team? Okay, now we know to ball up. We guys saw y'all get together and push into B, and then it's up to them to come and get you because they are definitely at a disadvantage. What do you tell your team here in situations like that when it's going your way?
Big thing is just don't get cocky. Keep your head on your shoulders and help try to protect that lead and not only hit points but ships as well. Um, you know we've got a guy running the guy Dabo is his name is one that got that kill, and he's gotten really adept at firing blind torps and getting good results for it, and we're really thankful for that. Uh, and it just helps. I mean, it psychologically, it puts you up at least in the mindset of okay, now we've got a little bit of a buffer, and we can start building upon that. And I think it takes some of the tension away from the match.
Absolutely. So congratulations to your team. Um, I know this was it was a pretty interesting battle. Y'all were up one, and then y'all lost the second game, and y'all were able to pull it together for the third game. It was kind of sketchy early game, but congratulations on your win here, and good luck in the rest of the league, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for streaming our match tonight. And as far as that second game goes, the only thing I'll say is that was one of those last minute, hey, let's try this things,
Absolutely.
and that showed. So, but it happens, and we're good with that. I'm just thankful for the opportunity for my guys to get this experience, and very thankful to Sterling Archer and Vaz and company for putting this on for us. It's something that World of Warships is sorely needed for many months.
I think it's definitely an excellent league that needs some eyes on it, and if I can help get some eyes on it, then hey, I'll do what I can. So thank you very much for coming in. I know you're going to get back to your guys, so we'll go ahead and let you go as we wrap it up here. A couple of more minutes, and so thank
All
you
right,
very much.
thanks
and
a lot.
congratulations again, my friend.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Sterling. So plays of the game for the first game. I think Jobo dropping those torps on the Benson was probably the game changer there. What about the second game
Yes.
for you, my friend?
That's a tough call. I don't know if there's any really big plays in the second game. I think that the Japayev just played. I sat and I basically ended up spectating him the whole time. He just played it really well. He got the radars up when he needed. He was able to stay with his fleet, but alive. I think he was just kind of the key to the victory there. The BB push needed him right behind them for the fire support, the radar, the hydro, and all that. So, just nice work to that excuse me, to that Chapayev driver, round number 2.
Absolutely outstanding. Yes, Chapayev really dominate with his radar and can very deny area from the enemy DDs if they're trying to be in smoke. If they hey, I'm taking fire up, I got to get out of here. I got to smoke. Guess what? I got radar. So you're going to be seen, and you're going to take some more damage. As for the third game, I think the big play was the Tirpitz YOLO charge. I really thought that was a turning point. Any turning points in game 3 for you? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
it's definitely I'm still not sure what happened there. I would have liked to actually ask because it definitely made stuff happen for better or worse. You're right. Maybe I don't know if it was intentional or otherwise, but that Tirpitz was able to buy them enough time for the rest of the fleet to really turtle up and focus stuff down. So, you know, his death definitely wasn't in vain. So I wish we had a chance to really figure out what happened there. See if that was planned. What was kind of going on. Maybe he just bit off more than he was able to chew there. Thought he'd, come into one BB and ended up coming to the whole fleet. So, definitely an interesting play. Good gamble for them. It worked out. So sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, right?
Absolutely. So overall, do you have any superstars of the match? This is Sterling Archer, stars of the game.
I don't know. I found that carrier battle actually very interesting to watch too, the whole game. Because that was also going back and forth. I think Arbor Knights won the first one really handily, and then I think the Fog Carrier swept the skies in the second match. Probably deserved a star for that one, to be honest. I didn't really, and then the third one was pretty much break even between the two of them. I think they had the same amount of planes killed.
Both
So
carriers had 30 plane
that
kills.
was I don't know if that was play a game, but that was definitely really interesting to watch. Hard to say. Matches like this, it's just a lot of good gameplay overall. Everyone's shooting pretty straight. So I don't know if I had any particular ones tonight. That Fubuki kill right off the bat was pretty awesome, I will say.
Outstanding.
Nice torp
I
right
was
there.
very impressed with both teams, especially coming back and. All right, so I'm looking at some of these stats, and the Shokaku in the third game had 30 plane kills. and the North Carolina had 24. North Carolina in the first and second game had 11 and 12 combined, so he got more in the third game. So that's a load of planes, and on 30 for the Fog Fleet on the last game. As I'm going back now to check out their scores on the second and first game, as he only had 16 plane kills in the second game. So definite disadvantage as the Shikaku had 37 plane kills. So excellent carrier play. Start of the game, I got to give it to the second game. Would be Battleship Montana, Fog Battleship Montana. He's having a Kraken in there and really taking over and dominating that game for the second one. Overall, excellent play. The destroyers did very, very good work. The battleships tanking when they need to tank. And man, it's been a lot of fun watching, and that's probably concluding. If you have any last minute thoughts here for our people here hanging out.
I think I'm all out of thoughts for now, actually.
Outstanding. Well, that's myself. I'm Sir Venom IK, and with me tonight has been Mr. Sterling Archer, Sterling Mallory Archer. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys
Thanks
very
for
much.
having
Before you guys get away, guys, check out the Supremacy League homepage. If you guys are interested in getting a team together for next season, go over there, post on the forums, contact with some of those people, contact with Vast, contact with Sterling, and see about getting a team in there. You guys want to support this thing. And one more thing before we go. Wargaming has, if I understand correctly, you guys are getting support from Wargaming for prizes.
Yes,
at the end
we
of this
we
league?
actually partnered with Wargaming for this season. Among other things, there's a doubloon prize for every team that wins in the first, second, and third for each division. I think the gold prize for first place in gold division is something like 50,000 doubloons to split among the team. So it's quite a bit of money and prizes overall. Every player who played this season, I think it was like at least 5 matches or something we set the minimum as, or 5 games, not matches, sorry, gets a prize pack of quite a few flags. So yeah, I mean, they've thrown their support behind us this season. It's really exciting. We're kind of hoping for bigger and better things for season 4.
Out an excellent company. I've only been playing this game for about 6 months, and I tell you what, Wargaming has just come out and they've listened to the community. Y'all want this, and guess what? They're going to give it to you. I really appreciate it. So big shout out to Wargaming for supporting an adventure like what Supremacy League is, and it's very well put together. It's very well run, from what I understand. And so thank you guys very much for having me. And if you guys want me to come back and do some of this in the future, just let me know, man. I had a lot of fun tonight.
Absolutely.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for us. Supremacy League, Armored Knights taking down Fleet of Fog to move up in their rankings to solidify 4th place, depending on what Black Fleet does this week. And then, unfortunately, Fleet of Fog dropping down into solidifying their 6th place spot right now, right before the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the rest of the league. And for that, I am Sir Venom, and he is...
Sterling Archer.
There you go. I was going to say, you missed your cue. He is Sterling
Signing
Archer.
off.
I am Sir Venom. Salutes, my friends, and welcome, and have a good evening.